Today, we're diving into explosive revelations that just shattered the calm across America and Europe. We've got sealed documents about to expose powerful names, a tech giant beating federal prosecutors, a trillion-dollar Middle Eastern power play, and religious freedom clashes on American streets. Plus, uncomfortable truths about discrimination that nobody wants to discuss, and a billion-dollar scandal rocking one of Europe's most trusted nations. But here's what I promise you, the most shocking revelation, the one that connects all these dots in ways you never imagined, that's coming at the very end of this episode. I spent years inside one of those prestigious newsrooms, watching editors kill stories that didn't fit their agenda, seeing facts twisted until truth became unrecognizable. That's why I walked away from that comfortable salary and corporate protection. Now I answer to nobody but you, speaking freely from here in Europe, connecting the dots they don't want connected. And folks, if you appreciate someone who actually does the digging, who cross-checks every claim to avoid spreading fake news, please hit that like button and subscribe. Consider supporting this channel, because independent journalism survives only when viewers like you believe truth matters more than comfort. And trust me, what's coming at the end of today's episode will change how you see everything. The United States Senate just did something extraordinary. They passed the Epstein Files Transparency Act, and within a month, 33,295 pages of documents will see daylight. Think about that number for a second. Over 33,000 pages that powerful people desperately wanted buried forever. This isn't just another government document dump. FBI Director Kash Patel promised full transparency. The Department of Justice swears every name gets revealed except the victims, and the investigation spans business titans, entertainment moguls, political dynasties, even foreign partners. You're watching the protective walls around the untouchable class finally crumble. Every connection, every meeting, every transaction involving that notorious financier will become public record. But why now? What changed that suddenly made Washington brave enough to pull this trigger? Keep that question in mind, because it connects directly to what I'm about to tell you next. While America prepares for those revelations, Meta just scored a massive legal victory that reshapes the entire tech landscape. Federal Judge James Boasberg ruled that buying Instagram and WhatsApp doesn't violate antitrust laws. His reasoning? The social media ecosystem transformed so dramatically in 5 years that old monopoly concerns simply don't apply anymore. This decision doesn't just clear Meta, it signals open season for big tech acquisitions. Every Silicon Valley boardroom just got the green light to consolidate power without fearing regulatory hammers. Critics warn this opens the floodgates for unprecedented corporate mergers, potentially crushing competition and handing even more control over public discourse to a handful of platforms. But here's what they're not telling you. This ruling arrives precisely when those same platforms face demands for censorship and content control. Coincidence? I think not. Now remember how I mentioned foreign partners in those Epstein documents? Well, President Trump just sealed what they're calling a historic agreement with Saudi Arabia, and the timing is fascinating. Riyadh gets major non-NATO ally status, approval to purchase 300 tanks and advanced F-35 fighter jets, plus investment deals exceeding $1 trillion. Let me repeat that. $1 trillion. This isn't just an arms deal or economic partnership, it's a complete realignment of Middle Eastern power dynamics. Washington gains a strategic fortress against future regional threats while carefully balancing Israeli interests. Those White House dinners aren't just photo opportunities, they're birthing new coalitions and military resource distributions that will shape global diplomacy for decades. Ask yourself, why would America need such a powerful ally right now? What storm are they preparing for that requires this level of commitment? But while geopolitics shift overseas, American streets witness troubling violations of basic rights. Federal lawsuits and victim testimonies confirm NYPD officers forcefully removed hijabs from Muslim women during protests. The department's response? They organized sensitivity training workshops on respectful handling of religious garments. Think about that. In 21st century New York, police need special classes to understand they shouldn't tear religious clothing off citizens. The Coalition for Muslim Women's Rights states it plainly. Forcing people to choose between religious identity and free speech is unacceptable. This isn't about political correctness. It's about whether America still believes in the freedoms it claims to defend. And if you're watching this thinking it doesn't affect you, wait until you hear what happened in Pittsburgh. A Korean entrepreneur just ignited a national firestorm by declaring that discrimination among minority communities often exceeds what they experience from white Americans. His words triggered everything from passionate support to accusations of stirring ethnic conflicts. But he exposed an uncomfortable reality America desperately avoids discussing, that fault lines don't just run between black and white, but crack through cultural subgroups in ways that shatter our simplified narratives about discrimination. This isn't about taking sides, it's about acknowledging that our social problems run deeper and more complex than any politician's soundbite can capture. Some call him brave for speaking truth, others label him divisive, but nobody can ignore that he forced a conversation this country needs but fears. Tell me in the comments, do you think addressing these internal conflicts helps or hurts the broader fight against discrimination? Meanwhile, Sweden's trusted institutions crumble under a scandal that reads like fiction, but sadly isn't. A network of religious leaders stands accused of embezzling over 1 billion Swedish crowns from government social funds through fake schools and phantom organizations. Where did the money go? Partially to adult entertainment clubs and foreign political projects. This isn't just theft. It's a betrayal that destroys faith in both religious and government structures. Sweden, that beacon of progressive governance and social trust, discovers its generosity got weaponized against its own citizens. The implications stretch far beyond Stockholm, because if this can happen in one of the world's most transparent democracies, what's happening in countries with weaker oversight? Today's avalanche of revelations shows us something profound. The boundaries between personal secrets, political power, and economic influence have completely dissolved. Those Epstein files won't just name names, they'll expose the invisible threads connecting seemingly separate spheres of influence. Meta's legal victory arrives just as those in power need maximum control over information flow. Saudi Arabia's elevation to quasi-NATO status happens precisely when Middle Eastern stability hangs by a thread. Religious freedoms get trampled in America's most diverse city, while ethnic minorities turn on each other in ways that benefit only those who profit from division. And European social democracy discovers its compassion got hijacked by criminals who understood the system better than its creators. These aren't isolated incidents. They're symptoms of a world where traditional structures collapse faster than we can build replacements. The real question isn't who gets exposed or which corporation wins, it's whether we're witnessing controlled demolition or chaotic collapse. Every scandal, every revelation, every power shift pushes us toward a reckoning that nobody fully understands, but everyone feels approaching. As I watch from here in Europe, analyzing patterns most miss because they're too close to see clearly, one thing becomes undeniable: we're living through the death of one era and the violent birth of another. What emerges from this chaos depends entirely on whether people like you stay informed, stay engaged, and refuse to let comfortable lies replace uncomfortable truths. Please, if this analysis opened your eyes to connections you hadn't seen, hit that subscribe button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and yes, consider supporting independent voices who won't bow to corporate sponsors or political pressure. Because when dust settles from all these revelations, you'll want someone who saw it coming and told you the truth when it mattered.